back to another video. Super fun and exciting. Also, my bed is so creaky. Apologies. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about visas and how the actual frickety brack you get one. Super exciting. It's definitely why I have coffee, because this was 100% a stressful endeavor for me personally, and you know, everybody else that I've talked to. So visa application. Also, don't be fooled, I only drink iced coffee. This is just a cute mug. So this is a tea on, you know, visa application, I guess. The process really long, in my opinion. I currently don't have an approved visa, which, you know, does mean that I could be denied, and you know, that's not fun to think about. And I'm assuming that I won't be. There's not really a reason for me to get denied. Thanks, dog. So I'm gonna go through all the steps of how you apply for a visa. Let's get started. To begin, oh my god. Can the dogs be quiet, please? All I ask for. Okay, whatever. Let's get started. To begin, you actually have to apply for university, obviously, because, you know, yeah, that's the beginning of the process. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but maybe not for some people. I don't know. I'm not gonna assume that anybody knows anything. So apply for university, and for the UK specifically, you have to apply on Ucas, which I talked about in a different video. So feel free to watch that. I'll link it in the description, I guess. Yeah, back to it. So you apply on Ucas, and once you do that, you basically you either get your conditional or unconditional offer. Again, talked about that in the other video. Once you have that, you either meet your conditions. What the fuck? Everybody's so noisy today. Goodness. You either meet your conditions or you don't. You apply for your school, you get your offer. Once it turns unconditional, you will get sent like a thing, like an email saying, oh, do you need a CAS number, which is a confirmation of acceptance of studies, which basically just has all of the information about you in a number that you have to put in your application for your visa online. And it basically just is telling the UK government and the American government that yes, you actually have a place at this university. You're not just saying that you're going and then lying about it, and you're not actually, but you're applying for a student visa, so you have to have proof of actually studying, and this is that proof. So they'll send you an email being like, hey, do you need to request one of these? And then obviously you do. And for me, at least with Edinburgh, they told me that it would be 2 business days to get my number back to me. To request it, they just have your basic information, like your birthday, I'm pretty sure your passport number, what you're supposed to be studying, the start date of your term, and then some other basic information like your current address, an email address, a phone number. And they ask you if that's all correct, and if it's not, you tell them, and I'm sure that lengthens the process of actually getting the number a little bit, but you say yes once the information's correct. And then for me, it was 2 business days until I got my CAS letter. Well, it wasn't an actual letter. They just updated my immigration details on my portal for application, and in that it had a CAS number, and then it also, when you're applying for your visa, you have to have what the qualification you're receiving is. So it's a specific level that they will put in your like your immigration details, they'll have it all listed out for the things, because you're gonna need like the address of the school, the level of your study, like what degree you're actually getting, and it's like a bunch of letters and then numbers, and so it's like kind of confusing. And then there's like one other code that I don't remember what was for, but it, like, the CAS number is not the only thing that you need. But once you have this, you can go to the UKVI website and you go to the student visa. You click on, like, it'll show you the different types of visas you can apply for. You go to student visa, and then you go to the apply section, and then it'll like have a little thing that like link to the application itself, and so then it'll ask you some basic information questions, like if you currently reside, I think, in like the Isle of Man or Guernsey, I don't know, just like some principalities within the UK, or like if you're applying to study there, which for most people the answer is no. I don't know if there's even like schools on the Isle of Man and whatnot. It's just like tiny little islands basically. And so you say yes or no, and then you will go through some other questions. It'll ask you if you're in the EU, like a resident of the EU or EEA, which is like the European Economic Area, which includes like Switzerland and I don't know what else. Whatever countries are not in the EU but are like part of the European bloc basically. And so if you are, it actually speeds your process up quite significantly, because there's like some online thing that you can do instead of going to a biometric appointment, so you can do it all in like one go basically. But I'm talking about me as an American specifically, how you get this visa, right? So it'll ask you that question, you'll say no, and then it'll ask you like if you are like already like have your CAS number, or if you don't, and if you don't, they don't really let you do much else. But you can save like your stuff right then and there with your email, so that you can return to it once you do have your CAS number. Granted, you only answered like 4 questions, but beside the point. So once you have your CAS number, it'll ask you for it, and then it'll ask you for the other like stuff that's listed in your CAS like confirmation letter thingy, for your immigration details, like the level of your studies. So for me specifically, I had put the code for whatever a Bachelor of Arts degree is, because it's like the level of your study. So like, are you getting their equivalent of an associate's degree? Are you getting a bachelor's degree? Is it post-grad? Is it a research post-grad? Is it a dissertation post-grad? Like what type of like outcome you're supposed to end with at the end of your study. And then it asks you like the address for your college, which there are obviously lots of different addresses because there are a bunch of different buildings in each university. So the university will give you a specific one that you're supposed to put for that, and it's usually what the administration headquarters is, or like the formal address of the university. So I did that one for Edinburgh, obviously. And then I think it asks the start and end date of my terms, which they also lay out for you. And so like the start date for me specifically is the 12th of September, because that's the beginning of welcome week, but we don't actually start classes until like the 19th, I believe. So you put that, and then your end date, which for me is like the end of May in 2026. But sometimes, like they specifically said that the end date can be a little bit after your degree will legitimately end, just to give you like some extra room post your visa is supposed to be ending, so that you can find a job or apply for a new visa or whatever. So you put those, and this is the fun part. It will then ask you for all of your travel history for the last 10 years. For some people, this will not be an issue. For me, it was an issue. I grew up in Singapore from the time I was like 4 till when I was 11-ish. So I lived there for 6.5 years. And during that time, obviously, I traveled lots. And me being 18 now, the past 10 years includes obviously 2012, 2013, and 2014, which were some of the years that I lived in Singapore. And so I had to include all of the travel from that, and then also all of the travel since then, which was it was like 9 or 10 different entries, I think, because I like went to Indonesia and Malaysia several times, like at least 3 times each. And then I've also been to China twice in that time. I have been to Belize since then, and Thailand once or twice. I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that was it. But you need the specific dates of your entry and your exit, which was the doozy for me because, you know, passports when you're younger only are like lasting for 5 years, you know? You have to renew it every 5 years, and then once you turn 18 or you're close to the 18 date, the passports become 10-year passports. So I had to go through 4 different passports because when I moved, I obviously had to get a passport. So I've had 4 different passports in my time of living. I have a 5th one right now, like that's the current one that I got because I had to renew it like in September of last year. So you need to have all of your passports so that you can see the different like stamps that you got of the dates that you left. Oh, the other country was Canada because I went to Canada like this summer. So you need the entry and exit dates and the reason for your like stay. And for a vast majority of people, it'll be leisure, or leisure, however you want to say it. Which just is like you're traveling for fun, like tourism and whatnot. And then I had to obviously put, like, for a large amount of that time, I was in Singapore, because I was living there, which they didn't really have an option for like long-term stay. And so like I also didn't say study because that's also an option, but like it was for my mom's job and I was living there, and yes, I was a student, but I was an elementary student, so it's not like formal education, you know? So I found that a little bit confusing, but you really want to make sure that you have all of that lined up, because, oh my god, yay, I just got my registration email. I would have been waiting for that because a bunch of the people that I know already got it. Anyways, moving on. So you put all of the places that you've been in the past 10 years, super easy. I know several people who like have never left the country or have only left the country a couple of times, and so they were like, well, I've traveled to the US, because they've like done different tourism stuff within America, but that doesn't count specifically for when you're applying for a visa because they're just wanting to know if you've left the country or not. And so they'll have like specific ones for within the EU and the EEA, US, UAE, Canada, and like a couple other countries, which I'm not totally sure why they're a different section, but they are. So they'll ask if you've visited any of those countries recently in the past 10 years, and then you'll put the entry and exit dates, and then every other country will be a different, like, not form, but like question, and you have to add however many times you've left the country. Once you do that, you ask a couple other, like they ask you a couple other basic things, like they want your passport date of expiration and like when you got it, your passport number, obviously they want like your birthday and stuff like that, I believe your current address, your phone number and email, just so they can contact you, but that's like something that you do when you first sign up. And that's sort of it, but then here's the kicker. This is my least favorite part. So when you finish all of the questions that they ask, oh, they also ask you if you're a convicted like war criminal, if you're a terrorist, or if you're an extremist. I am of the belief that if you are one of those things, you would be smart enough to say no to that, but you know, they have to ask legally. Hopefully your answer is no. I really hope so. So you say no to those, obviously, and then it'll be like, okay, so we're gonna boot you over to the immigration health surcharge thing. And I'm gonna tell you now, it is not that cheap. It is, okay, because you pay for it all in one go, it's not cheap, because for 4 years of study, it was like $2,600 for me. Yay. That was not an exciting number to hear. So to then pay for your visa, you have to pay the immigration health surcharge. So yeah, I was a little bit blindsided by that one because I was like, I was assuming that like after your visa was approved, you would pay for that, but no, you have to do that to even apply for the actual visa, like submit the application. So you pay for your health surcharge. They'll like do some other basic information. It's like a link on the thing once you finished all of the steps. It's a link that they'll like boot you to the other website, you'll pay it, and then it'll boot you back. And then it'll boot you to a different website where you pay for your visa application, which I think was $410. So be prepped and ready to drop $3,000 when you actually are trying to submit your application. Yeah. I do know some horror stories of people who have had to apply twice because something was messed up on their first application, and so they paid $6,000 because they had to pay for it both times. And yes, you can refund your like payment if you want to cancel your application or whatnot, but that does take 30 business days. So you're still not gonna have that $3,000 for a hot minute if you do mess it up. So really try not to mess it up, okay? So you do that, you send it off, it's a great time, and then you're like, whoa, what am I supposed to do now? Now you have to set up a biometric appointment, which a biometric appointment, it sounds really fancy, and it is not. It's literally going to a visa application like help center basically, and you do your fingerprints, you take a picture, and they put a stamp on your paper. That's it. The kicker here is actually getting the appointment before you need to leave. I'm lucky because I live near Chicago. There are many application centers near me, just because it is the third biggest city in America. Like there have to be multiple application centers because it is a hotspot, and it also makes it easy for anybody in Illinois or even Indiana to drive to Chicago to, you know, figure it out. So I signed up for an appointment. I was really lucky, and there was actually like 2 available appointments for, and I think I submitted the application on the Tuesday, and then my actual appointment was for the Monday. So you will sign up for the appointment, you get to pick which of the locations in your area you want to do. So I had multiple options, but a lot of people like say you live in like Denver, there's only one location in Denver, I'm pretty sure. Or like more like the smaller cities, you're less likely to have multiple options unless you just want to choose the earliest date you can apply. Yeah. So once you have your like appointment picked and the time slot, they will send you an email with a PDF of your confirmation of appointment. I literally do not think that they say it anywhere in the email that you need to print this out. It is literally the most important thing for you to have other than your passport when you go to your appointment, because that is what they stamp and that is what you like send to New York like with your paper application. So don't know why it doesn't say that, because it says to like bring the printed UK checklist of what you need to bring, which they will also tell you. So for student visa, the only thing that you need is your passport. For student visas, it's fairly easy because all you need is the CAS to actually confirm you are studying at a college. So it's fairly straightforward in that regard. So you bring the PDF printed, specifically printed to your appointment, and you need your passport. Those are the only things you need to bring with you to your application. I was an overachiever. I didn't mean application, I mean appointments, right? I was an overachiever, and I brought all of my passports that included my past 10 years of travel history, because I was like, well, they might want to check, I don't know. I brought the UKVI checklist that they like make you download and that says you only need your passport to actually like apply for the visa, you know? And then I brought like printed scans of all of the passport pages with my past 10 years of history, so that was super fun. Yeah, they literally only checked the passport and the confirmation of the appointment, so that was cute. From everybody that I've talked to, the actual the applicant like appointment thingy, biometrics and whatnot, super easy. It was so easy for me. There was literally one other person in the application center. It was so laid back. I like went almost immediately. They do all of your fingers as well as like a they call it literally like slap of your 4 fingers, and then they do each one individually for both of your hands. The actual reason for that is most likely just because like if you get arrested and they, you know, take your fingerprints while you're in the UK, they'll see that you're on a visa, they can export you from the country. Yeah. Not export, deport. Wow. My brain is really doing some good stuff today, I guess. Okay. And then they take a picture of you. I didn't know if you're supposed to smile or not, so I look like an asshole in mine, but I didn't know if it was gonna be like printed in my passport or not, so I was like, I'm just gonna say this smile because that's how you're supposed to do passport pictures. I don't know, man. So they take that and then they do a little boop and staple another sheet to your confirmation of the appointment, and then they're like, okay, so now you have 5 days to ship this to New York with all of your supporting documents. So I then went to UPS later that day because I think it has to be UPS. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how it's like fastest because you can get priority with that. So we went there, we got a bubble mailer, and we put all of my printed scans of the passports previous to my current one, which actually the physical passport we shipped. Oh my god, I got the bald. Yay! Like the physical passport that is your current passport has to be shipped with your application. So stressful because like you need it back in time to fly because you can't leave the country without a passport and you can't enter a country without a passport. So I had my printed scans, my physical passport, that is my current passport. I had a scan of my current passport just in case, because they said to do any supporting documents, I don't know. And then I sent the confirmation appointment thingy with the stamp and the attached page, and then the UKVI checklist thingy that is like checked. And then I put it all in the bubble mailer, and then you get another bubble mailer, and you have to ask the UPS people for a return label, because unless you pay for the extra service when you're on the VFS Global website trying to set up for your appointment, and also like pay for your application of the visa, it'll have like options to do like priority or like their add-ons that you can do. So I did the SMS add-on, so it'll basically just text me when it's supposed to come back to me and like what the status of my thing is. So unless you paid for the return label, you have to provide your own. So if you didn't pay for that, you just ask the person at the desk, be like, okay, so I also need to have a return label and return mailer for my application. And then they will suggest which one you should use, and then also suggest the bubble mailer that you're actually going to send it in, because it has to be big enough to fit all of the papers, your passport, and a like folded bubble mailer with the return address. And so once you do that, they weigh it, and then you pay, and then they ship it. They'll tell you about how many days it should take to like get to the office in New York, and I think it was like 3 to 4 business days, I believe. I'm pretty sure. And then from there, they will check all of your stuff, and then they'll send it to the UK, like, immigration control thing, which I did receive a text on August 1st saying that mine was sent to the UK. Granted, I don't know if they mean, like, physically my passport was sent to the UK or not, but whatever. Because you get they call it a vignette, but it is literally just like a sticker that goes in a page of your passport, that, you know, says you can enter the country and stay in the country, and so you obviously need that. So it's currently for this year. I don't know about future years because it's obviously not future years. The refugee visas, wow. The refugee visas and the student visas are the current top priority for the UK government. The refugee ones are mostly for Ukrainian citizens, but it's like anyone who's trying to apply for asylum or refugee status. And then the student visas, just because, you know, they have a lot of people apply for them, and, you know, 6 weeks processing time does not really bode well with actually going to school on time. So it is a 3-week/15 business day processing time, and given that mine was received or sent at least on the 1st of August, I should have like it approved or not approved by the 15th of August, and then I'm assuming it'll take like 5 to 6 business days to get it back to me, which means somewhere on the 20th, 24th, somewhere in that little stretch of time, I should get everything back, hopefully, because I leave on the 7th and I need my passport on the 7th, obviously, to leave the country. So that is how you apply for visa. I don't know if that was a little bit rushed. Hopefully it does make sense. Definitely leave comments if it doesn't, and I can try and clarify as much as humanly possible. Like, you want to try and get this as soon as humanly possible done, because, you know, you want to make sure that you're there on time, and they do have like things set up for if you don't get it on time, like if you are a week or 2 late for your degree starting, they have like accommodations for you in a way, like they'll talk to you, would like talk to your school that you're in. So if, for me specifically, I would talk to the School of Literature, Languages and Cultures about my start date being a little bit further than the actual start date of the school year, and then I would talk to my like specific professors about what accommodations I need to be able to get all of the work done in that time that I'm not physically at the school. And then once you arrive, obviously it would go back to like normal. Yep, that is visa application in a nutshell. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna have a super fun time vaping to this, you know, lengthy video. Again, leave comments if you guys have any questions. Yeah, that's about it. I'm hoping and praying that everybody gets their visas on time for this year, because it's really stressful, but that's it.